So I had a thought. This past week, I've been re-engaging and learning more about myself and getting back into some of the things that I have appreciated in the past. If you know me, I've always been somebody who's had a curious mind. I always like to think about how the world works, what makes people tick. What are the habits of successful people? If you peruse the channel, you'll see that. I talk about things that interest me and try to learn from people who know more than I do because I don't claim to have all the answers. This past week, on a great recommendation that I got, I started listening to Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. The book is phenomenal, I'll say that. I'll leave this video episode spoiler free. I will not talk about everything when it comes to the book, but I wanted to give some of my thoughts here in this video on what I've thought about the book and some of the impressions that I've had and some of the things I've learned about myself by reading it. In life, people are influenced by so much from a very early age. Even before we could comprehend that we've been influenced, we have. By friends, by family, by authority figures, by your parents, by your grandparents, by people who are wiser than you, people who have lived more experience. And they are influenced by their experiences. In Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, he goes down and kind of illustrates how those influences can affect people in a positive way or in a negative way. And he goes into the minute details of why certain negative thoughts and why certain institutions want you to continue to have a certain agenda because it keeps people who are in power and people who have influence doing just that, influencing you. I've had thoughts like this in the past. And if you know me, if somebody says something or if I learn something new, my favorite follow-up, and it has always been this, is why? And then somebody will say, well, et cetera, et cetera. Then I'll say, but why is that? And I'll keep trying to pry and get more information. That's just my curious mind at work. While listening to Outwitting the Devil, I've come to realize that a lot of the concepts that Napoleon Hill outlines in the book are something that I already had been doing in my life. Not just taking something on face value, but being skeptical, asking questions, thinking about why somebody wants me to do something. And is it because they want me to do it or if they have been influenced to do it? I always tell people who know me or people who've been around me, I'm a straight shooter. I'll tell people, like, if people want to hang out with me, I get asked to do stuff all the time. And just know I'm not being rude when I say no. I'm just valuing my time and I'm valuing what I want to do in that moment. And that doesn't have to be a slight against you. I think in today's day and age, way too many people are seeking the validation of others at the detriment of themselves. I would much rather be around somebody or have somebody spend time with me who actually wants to do it. And they're not there because of an obligation, or they're not there because they want to get something from you. Everybody wants to get something out of everything. So let me rephrase that. But they're there in good faith and they want to add value back to you for that exchange. What I've realized is people waste a lot of time in their day-to-day lives having interactions with others or going to events or never saying no to anything. Let me ask you this. If you never say no to any offer that somebody gives to you, if you're a people pleaser and anytime somebody invites you to an event, you have FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. If you always say yes to everything, does your presence actually mean anything? Think about that. If you say yes to everything or every event, or people can count on you always being there, is there any value in your presence? I would say you lessen your value by always saying yes. Saying no is a gift for you, but it also can be a kindness to the other person because you're not wasting their time. When you show up somewhere, you're present. When you show up somewhere, you want to be there and you're going to add value back. That's how I like to show up in life. And while listening to Outwitting the Devil, one of the concepts he talked about was time. He talked about how one of the things that the devil uses, and you could believe in God, the devil, you don't even have to be religious. You could think of it from the concept of the positive and the negative. In the laws of nature, if there is lightness, there must be darkness, right? And in the book, Napoleon Hill, Mr. Earthbound, he is having a conversation with the devil and he's interviewing him and he's trying to figure out the devil's schemes to keep us in a constant state of drifting, where we're drifters. We don't make decisive decisions about anything. We go with the flow. We FOMO. We say yes to everything. We don't have our own discernment and we're not being decisive on the things we want to do in our lives. That's kind of the underlying thing that's going on through the concepts of the book. But when it comes to time, time is very useful because it is a resource that is not finite. It is the most valuable resource that we have as human beings. Because if you've followed with the Carrot Juice podcast, valuing your time and thinking of time as a concept of if you live a full life and a healthy life, you only have 4,000 weeks to live. I learned that from Oliver Berkman. As a human being that lives a full life, you have 4,000 weeks to live. And this is not to be morbid. It's to have you understand and put it into the proper perspective that time is very valuable and how you spend it. Yeah, spend time. Time is a resource. Time is a currency. You need to spend it wisely on things that you want to do, that you prioritize, that you value. Now, that could be on seeking the validation of others. That could be on working out and getting your physical fitness right. That's what I've been doing lately. It could be on developing yourself, reading or listening to a new book and learning something and teaching it back. It could be on helping others. It could be on reconnecting and spending time with family at the right time after you've done some of those previous things. Time is valuable to us, and way too often, myself included, when I was a younger person, 34 now, I didn't value my time. I wasted my time chasing the wrong things, seeking validation from people who didn't care about me. They were out for their own best interests, and I don't knock them for that. Going on dates, going and hanging out with people just because I thought I had nothing better to do. That's a powerful concept. When you're somebody that can say no to something, you take power and ownership of your time because you know it's valuable and it's useful and it's something that you can never get back. And make sure that when you're spending your time on something, you're fully into it and you are getting the most out of that time. No regrets. That's one of the most powerful things that I've learned after listening to Outwitting the Devil. The audiobook, I listened to it. It took me about 3 days. And let me give you how much time it is. It's not a long read, but I would encourage anybody to listen to it. If you're religious or not, that's besides the point. It's almost 6 hours, 5 hours and 50 minutes. It's a great listen. It's a great read. It has connected so many dots that I knew, but I couldn't put it into words myself. And there is a whole backstory as to why it took so long for the book to come out. Originally, Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, he wrote this manuscript and he had it finished in 1938. And it wasn't published until 2011. I'm not going to give it away, but there's a whole backstory as to why that is. And you should listen or read the book and then come back to this video and let me know what you think about some of the things that you think about that whole backdrop. And there's a lot of discussion to have. I'm interested in knowing what you think about the book. I would like to converse with people who are thinkers, who think outside of the box. We don't have to agree on everything. I don't want to agree on everything with the people I'm around. That's stupid. I want to be around people who push me. I want to be around people who think for themselves, not just go with the status quo of everything. And this book kind of connected with me because that's the type of person I've been my whole life. Once I became aware that knowledge is power. That's why on my channel, you see so much from philosophers, from people who are wise. Socrates is one of my favorites. And he talks about, spend your time reading other men's writings so that you could come easily by what others have labored hard for. He's talking about soaking up the wisdom of people from the past, because you could take in a couple of moments, in a day or two, you could soak up and absorb all the knowledge that they have had in their whole life by taking and spending that time wisely and learning what it took them a lifetime to obtain. It's a cheat code to life. Reading and absorbing knowledge from others who know more than you is a cheat code to life. If you know about finance and you know about compounding and compound interest, you can compound your knowledge simply by taking and spending your time wisely in reading from people who know more than you. That's what I've been doing the past year and a half, because quite honestly, when I first started this channel, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to figure it out. This podcast. I was on here just talking about what I thought about things, giving my commentary on life, my commentary on things that was going on with celebrities and what was the latest thing that was popping and happening with YouTube. But you know what? About a year and a half ago, I said, what is this going to do for the next generation? What is this going to do? Is this adding value to anybody? And my honest thought was no. So I had to look within and I said, what do I want to know more about? What's going to nourish me? And hopefully it will in the process help others. Absorbing knowledge, learning from the Greek philosophers, learning about Stoicism, learning from Confucius, learning from successful people and kind of soaking up some of the things that have made them successful and teaching it back. There's other things to it as well, but I think the key to life is not trying to know everything, but constantly pursuing and seeking knowledge and then not taking it on face value of what somebody else thinks, but making your own conclusion about life after that, creating your own theory and philosophy about life, having your own free thought. Your freedom of thought is your superpower. So it's my motto every day is the key is to be wise and to think for myself. And I encourage you to be wise and think for yourself. Don't take anything on face value that you hear in the news, that you hear on YouTube, that you hear on the podcast, without doing your own research, observing what is going on, digesting and absorbing all of the knowledge that the world has to offer, and then taking all of that and having your own freedom of thought. And then through that process, I hope that you progress forward and become the best you can be, whatever that means. So I'm inspired. Outwitting the Devil, my thoughts on it. It's amazing. I'm definitely going to go back and reread it again. And I might actually get a hard copy of the book so I can. There is a difference between listening to an audiobook and actually reading something. It's just me. I like to multitask. I like to listen to audiobooks and stuff like when I'm working out. But I'm open to more book recommendations as well. Let me know what you're reading in the comments if you have anything that you're reading that you think I should check out and learn more about. But Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, phenomenal. A great read. It really helped to frame a lot of things that I've felt in the past and that I've thought about just society in the world. And it's great, man. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Don't waste yours drifting through life, filled with the thoughts and opinions and philosophies of others. Create your own. Be a free thinker. Be your own person, despite what anybody else thinks. That is what I want for you. Read Outwitting the Devil, and then from there, be the best you can be, the true version of you. So we'll reconvene at a later time. This was just impromptu. I just felt that. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Oh, I didn't even introduce myself. Excuse me. Pardon my manners. My name is Monte Lee. I am the host here of the Karat Juice podcast. You can expect videos, episodes weekly-ish. And if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe. Like the video. Hit the notification bell. You'll get notified when I drop content. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace. Take care.